live. Hey everyone, welcome to yet another session of TestMu Conference 2025. Hope you are enjoying all the sessions and having a great learning experience. I am 𝐀𝐧𝐝𝐫𝐞𝐰 Associate Director Marketing at Lambda Test and would be your host for this workshop session. Today we are diving into an exciting topic that goes beyond the basics of test automation, that is advanced playwright with AI. Playwright has surely become one of the most popular frameworks for modern web automation. And in this workshop, we will explore how to move past the hello test stage and write more advanced and scalable Playwright tests together. And for this session, I am delighted to introduce Andrew Knight, a proud Playwright ambassador, also known as the Automation Panda. Andrew is a software quality champion who loves helping people build better quality software. Currently, he serves as the Senior Director of Product Management at Cycle Labs, where he focuses on building an excellent test automation platform for enterprise systems. In this workshop, Andrew will also guide us through advanced techniques like page object abstraction, behavior separation, test data management, and most importantly, how to leverage AI tools to accelerate playwright test automation and boost productivity. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat and we will address them during the Q&A session at the end or maybe during the session. And do share about your favorite moment from this session on social media with the hashtag #TestMuPon and stand a chance to win exciting prizes. So please join me in welcoming Andrew Knight. Andrew, it's over to you.
Thanks, Shazeb, and hello, everybody. Hope we're having a wonderful day here at TestMu Day 2. I am caffeinated and sugared up, so this is going to be a very, very fun session. If you don't know who I am, I'm Andy. I love testing. I love building stuff. It's awesome. You might know me as the Automation Panda. Historically, my career path has been I build solutions to testing problems. I was an SDET rank and file for about a decade. I had some weird left turn into developer relations. Even got to lead test automation university. Currently, for the past 2 years, I have been at a local company to me in Raleigh called Cycle Labs, where I am helping to build the test automation platform of the future, specifically for supply chain and warehouse management systems. It's pretty cool. I've got an awesome team and I love it. And it's also local to me. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, so that's hype. Okay, so let me share my screen. Share my screen. Okay, so if you want to keep in touch with me, hit me up on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Twitter or X, whatever it is now, or Blue Sky. Also, I have my blog, automationpanda.com. I write mostly about tech, sometimes about cars, because I also do cars. Ask me about my cars or my puppy. But we're not here to talk about cars or puppies. We're here to talk about Playwright. Yes, the most awesomest web test framework ever. Not desktop apps, my friend. Web, because everything is web apparently. Not everything, but lots of things. This is going to be a different kind of workshop. We are here for 90 minutes. Gosh, it's going to be 90 minutes of me streaming. Um, with it being virtual, it's kind of tough to have like a true workshop or tutorial where I give exercises and wait for people. So the way that I'm going to treat this is going to be more like a live stream, where I'm going to show how we can build an awesome web app with Playwright tests. And as we go, pop things in the chat, ask questions. I'll try to be as interactive as I can. I know there's probably a lot of distractions of screens and going on, but I want to make this as interactive as possible. And oh my goodness, already we've got questions to answer. Oh man, we'll get to those. So pop it in the chat. Oh, yeah, I see people already filling it up. Great. Um, thank you, Amanda. So like I said, we're going to code together. This is going to be entirely me talking and vibe coding and y'all asking questions, and hopefully I can keep up. Um, Let me introduce a little bit about Playwright, though, first. I'm also going to send out some polls, and then we're going to set up our project and we're going to go. So, to help me learn who's in the audience better, let's send out this first poll. Show poll on stage. What best describes your current role? Are you a developer, a tester, a product owner or manager, or something else entirely? I identify as a panda, but if I had to choose one of these, I'd choose all of them. I have been the tester. Oh my goodness. I have been a developer. I've always been a developer at heart. But for some reason, right now, my role is product management. It's weird, but what it means is that I get to kind of control the destiny for the product that we're developing, and that's pretty cool. So I get to build vicariously through other people on my team. I get to be that biz role. All right. Oh my goodness. So we have a ton of votes, and almost everybody's a tester. 94 votes for testers, 70 some percent. We'll let this go for another minute. It's like watching the stock tickers, right? It just keeps going. It's going. Is it going up or down? Nobody knows. Oh my gosh. So we have a couple developers. We got 10 votes for that. We got more product owners than developers. Wow. Come on, developers. What's going on here? And then other. If you put other, put it in the chat as to what you were. Just curious. Vibe coding is a kind of development, I think. Pfft, you think you know. What do you think we're doing here in this workshop today? Foreshadowing. Uh, all good. Quality engineer, head of IT. Welcome. Welcome. Automation developer. I think the proper term for that is automationeer. Automationeer, one word, less syllables. Tester, tester, right. Tester, 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 QA automation engineer. Yeah, vibe coding. Hey, Andrew. Well, that's not your role. That's okay. All right, awesome. So, dang, okay, we crossed the threshold. We got 143 votes. Three quarters of y'all are testers. Great. I get to blow your minds today. All right, I'm going to close this poll. Head of quality. That's what's up. Close poll. All right. So this gives me a good perspective because I think, or what I'm hoping is I'm going to be able to show some things to y'all that will blow your mind and help you become super testers today. Is that a word? Super tester? We'll make it a word. It's my workshop and I can make up words if I want to. All right. I got another poll for y'all. Um, Here we go. Uh, Show on stage. Do you use AI in your coding or you could say testing workflows? And so I got four choices here. There's the like hyper advanced, latest and greatest, coding assistants like Cursor, Copilot, Claude that you're using within your IDE or directly on the terminal that really blend into your workflows. Or are you just using tools like ChatGPT or Gemini where you've got a little web browser window on the side and you're prompting? Or hey, I haven't tried any of these yet, but I want to give them a try soon. That was me like a year ago. It's hard to believe. We've only been doing this Gen AI thing for like 2.5 years, y'all. Isn't that wild? It feels like a lifetime. It's like I can't ever go back. It's crazy. Or are you like way back, like, no, not interested? Zero so far. Please don't be that one. But if you are that one, it's okay. This is a safe space. We'll convince you. We'll vibe code together. So it looks like, wow, this is pretty good. So leading the pack, a lot of people are using those direct code assistants. We've got about 50%. That's awesome. I'm actually fairly new on that train myself. For a while, I'd use ChatGPT. I mean, back in my day, we had what was it, Stack Overflow. Well, actually, no. Back in my day, when I first started, you had a book. That's right, a book. Can you control F a printed page? No, you had to read that dang thing and be like, "Where's this stupid thing going wrong?" If you got compiler errors, you are out of luck. Good luck figuring that one out. Google, haha, Google's new in 2003. I am that old. That was ninth grade. No, that 2002 was ninth grade. First started programming in ninth grade in 2002. I started on the calculator. Internet searching for this stuff? No. Test Automation University? No. Oh my gosh. Now AI tells you how to code. You're just like, okay, take it by faith. Great. All right. So about 161 votes in again as well. So about half, just under half, are using coding assistants, and about a little more than a third are using Chat GPT and Gemini kind of stuff. I use them both, to be honest. Yep. Haha. Very funny. All right. Did I miss any tools? I hope not. I mean, there's only so many. I see Donald Duck in the chat. Thanks, Prachi. I use Genie or Junie as well as Claude Code. I don't know. I don't even know what that is. Cool. So we'll close this poll. We've got enough votes there. All right. Good job, y'all. So this is great. So the what we're going to learn today is we're going to learn Playwright. That's what they said on the agenda, right? What we're actually going to learn is how do we build and test apps together? Oh, dang. We're going to get deep. You dang right. How can we do this? AI. That's how, because that's the linchpin. Um, as many of you probably know, Playwright is a web test framework. It's open source. It's from Microsoft. It's pretty friggin' sweet, if I do say so myself. I'm an ambassador, official ambassador. Doesn't mean I'm paid, but it means I get swag and I get to talk about it. I mean, it's not like I couldn't talk about it otherwise. But I've been using Playwright for a couple years. Of the major web test frameworks, is probably the newest one. If you look at Selenium, been around forever. Cypress, yeah. Playwright is the newest of those. WebDriver I was around that too. Honorable mention, nice. And there's others. But Playwright has really gained traction because it is such a good tool. Uh, I I had done Selenium for years, and as soon as I picked up Playwright within an afternoon, I'm like, this is it. This is what I want to do from now on. This is, not to say Selenium is bad, but like it's pretty hot. And so it's some of the nice things about Playwright. You can program it in any of the major languages, TypeScript, Python, Java, C Sharp. We'll be doing TypeScript today. That's kind of like the main one. And the team at Microsoft is just really good about keeping up with it, adding new features to it, extending it, making the API work really well. You can do API testing as well as web testing, and they've created a bunch of really nifty optimizations. For example, you don't have to test the full browsers like Google Chrome. Sometimes, sorry about that, but you can actually test like browser projects like Chromium or WebKit, which have a much smaller footprint on your system and give you pretty much commensurate coverage. So that's really good. I mean, there might be some little edge cases. I've never hit them. They're there, maybe. The benefits enough to outweigh the risk there, in my opinion. Other cool things that how it handles browsers in that with Selenium tests, you'd have to create a new instance of a browser for every single test. You start it up, you quit it, and then the next test you repeat. And that adds, significant overhead to every single test, which means your tests take longer to run as a suite. With Playwright, there's only one browser instance throughout the whole time, and it peels browser contexts, which are like these small incognito like sessions out of that one instance, lightning fast to spin up and tear down. So you get a lot more happening in a much shorter time. And so, with all that saying, Playwright's execution is freaky fast. You benchmark this against all the other test tools, and it's like it is lightning compared to some of the others, which is really really nice. Not to say that others haven't made advancements over the years, but I believe last I checked, Playwright is still the fastest. And so like if you're doing small scale testing, big whoop. But if you're doing like hundreds to thousands of web tests continuously. Hi, my name is Andy. I test at high scale. It matters. Just time is money, y'all. Okay. So in as Playwright has evolved over time, not only is it that core framework, but you now have got the things like the UI mode. You've got extra debuggability. You've got the ability to do API testing with it. You can do MCP with all the AI, Gen AI stuff. I'm not going to show you MCP today. Sorry. Debbie had a session on that yesterday. But I will try to show as much as I can of how Playwright works and all that good stuff. So I see we already have some questions popping in. Oh my goodness. I want to try to hit some of these real quick before we dive into code. So let's see what we've got here. Um, how do we how to debug failing tests in Playwright? I'll answer this one right now. How can I don't know how to mark it as answered. Um, do I not have the power? Oh well, we'll just answer it out here, and hopefully something will happen. So, how do you debug failing tests? Through your IDE, you can actually set breakpoints and debug just like anything else. You can step through it line by line. That's really nice with any kind of test framework. Sometimes though, like it could be as simple as just rerun it and watch what happens. But you can just set breakpoints and step through. And remind me when we get to the code, I can show that happening. Okay. Um, Another question here. Any special considerations for parallel execution? Yes. With parallel execution, Playwright will do it out of the box for you, but you got to make sure that you avoid collisions in your test data. Anytime you have two tests that are trying to access the same resource in the system, kaboom! Imagine if one test is the delete test for a record, and another test is trying to fetch that record. Oops, that's what we call a collision. You need to set up your tests such that they don't collide on that test data. Running in parallel is very easy. Playwright does that out of the box. Most test frameworks do it as a command line option or something. Setting up your test to work properly in parallel, now that is the challenge, and we'll get to seeing an example of that when we code. Um, Playwright is great for speed and coverage, but how do you manage test flakiness at scale? So much of the flakiness that happens in web UI testing comes from improper weighting, right? When you have test black box test automation, whether it's API, UI, whatever, you essentially have a distributed system. What? We're doing distributed systems now? You always have been, friends. Think about it. At the very least, you have one process that is the system under test, and that's spinning wheels over here. And you have the other process, which is your test automation, which is spinning wheels over here. And you got to make sure those wheels are synchronized, or else your car is going to flip over, right? Oops. And so, what does that look like? Well, when you go to click a button, you need to make sure that button exists on the page before you click it. You might say, well, obviously, Andy, that's dumb. But think about how many times interactions on the page change the page, right? So anytime you perform an interaction, there's this waiting time that has to happen for that to take effect, right? And so what's very happens, you might load a page and then try to click a button, but you might send the automation might fire the click interaction before the page has loaded that button, and then it goes pew, misfire, and then your test crashes. And that's the root of the majority of flakiness with web UI testing. The way you handle that is you make sure you have weights built into your calls. Now, with older frameworks like Selenium, you had to typically be explicit about that. You had to have expected weighting conditions, or you had to set an implicit setting for everything, which is not necessarily good. With Playwright, when you click, it has smart weighting built into that click command. So you don't have to do explicit weighting for most times. It'll wait for the thing to be actionable before it sends the action. And so that's how you can handle test flakiness at scale. All right. So keep upvoting some questions. Let's have another poll. So let me send out a poll here. That one's close. There we go. Show on stage. So, what kind of app do y'all want to build and test today? Hmm. Do we want to do a to do list? Do we want to do a survey? Do we want to do some kind of online store? Dang, the online store is like taking off. Y'all don't want to do a to do list? Come on now. That's okay. So, as I said, we're going to be live coding everything today because we learn best by doing, right? I can throw a bunch of slides in your face. That's boring. We're going to build a test project. Not only are we going to build a test project, we're actually going to build a web app. What? You heard me. We are going to build a test app from the ground up, and then we're going to test it with Playwright, and we're going to iterate and test as we go. So this is not just a testing workshop. This is a development workshop. You might be intimidated. Oh my gosh, is that going to be hard? No. No, it's not. At least I hope not. And the reason why is because we have these awesome AI assisted coding tools that we're going to use. I see development and testing very much as two sides of the same coin, right? There really is no separation in my mind of those two activities, right? If we're because ultimately we're building software, and so if we're building software, that means we got to not only write the code to make it happen, but we also need to make sure that code works. And so my thoughts, I don't like to have those two things divorced. I'd like them together as much as possible. And with a modern web test framework like Playwright, it makes it very easy to do that, right? Because Playwright really complements web development workflows. And that's why I think it's such a fantastic framework that is popular, not just with testers, but with developers as well. We had the question before. Most of y'all are testers. I think like 3/4 of y'all. And so you might be a little intimidated about, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to follow along? Trust me. Trust me, you will. We're going to make a React app. I'm going to admit to you, I don't even know how to make a React app, but I can make it happen with the power of AI assistance. And it actually works. I did it earlier this week. You thought I was flying blind? Just a little, but not too much, right? Because we have common sense. We know the structure of a web app. We know how APIs work, and we know what looks good. Ultimately, that's our job as testers. We're judges of what looks good and what's not. Is this broken or not? Right? Should we make improvements or not? So, who's ready to begin with me? We're going to build this stuff. It's going to be freaking awesome. Complete vibe coding. So that's an interesting thing. Like I like to use the word vibe coding. It's kind of a pejorative term, right? Because vibe coding can imply it's a bunch of knuckleheads who don't know what they're doing, just playing around in code and spouting crap. I I I like vibe coding. I like that term because it sounds fun and cool, and we're like vibing. I play my lo-fi music on the side. Um, but I think a more correct phrase to use would be something like AI assisted coding, because ultimately what I see AI is rocket boosters. It helps me grind through all that stuff that I would have to look up tediously otherwise. Oh, real quick question here. Can Playwright be used for testing mobile or just for the web? Just web. You can emulate mobile sized browsers, but you can't do native mobile testing. Vibe coding, love it. Great. So it looks like we're building an online store today. Damn it. Okay, that's fine. We'll do this. I was hoping somebody would do one of the other ones, but that's okay. So the tool that I'm going to use is Cursor. Now, I like Cursor because it's basically like Visual Studio Code, but enhanced. And I've been using it to build a couple different kinds of applications over the past couple months, and I found it to be very helpful. I know some of my coworkers have used that. Sorry. Some of my coworkers have used Claude and really like that. So there's no like wrong tool. It's kind of like, do you prefer Windows or Mac or Linux? I don't care. Can it run the program? Yes or no? Great. So that's kind of my stance on what model to use. I don't know. Just pick one. They're all about the same. Well, but then you can get like a little 50% more of the thing out of it. Okay. I'm so dumb. I can't even tell. It's fine. It's good enough. Poor Andy. That's right. Poor me. What I care about is great gains. Can I actually build the thing and have it work well? All right. So let's build a project, y'all. So I'm going to go into my directory. I'm going to make a directory. TestMu online store. Let's do this. Okay. So you can see, um, oopsie. Oh, come on. Oh, my last year's project. That's cool. Online. Okay. So you can see there's nothing in here, right? It's empty. Um, Now I'm going to open up Cursor. New window. File. Open. Come on. Oh, nope. Where did I put this thing? Me, code, cycle lab. No, no, not cycle labs. Y'all can't see that stuff. That's not allowed. It's fine. There's nothing bad in there. Online store. Okay, cool. Bam. Okie dokie. So I'm gonna expand my screen. I got nothing in here. Let me try to make the text a little bigger so folks can see it good. All right. So I have a completely empty project that I want to build a online store here. So we're going to do this in TypeScript. We're going to do this in Node. Um, what's the best way to start? I'm going to start by asking some questions. You can either have it do some things, but I want it to be my rubber duck first. So let's chat with Cursor. I want to create a small web app for an online store. I want to write it in as a full stack Node app in TypeScript. Why? Because that's what we're doing today. Um, it should Now we get to choose what tools we want. I'm going to say we should have a React front end and an Express back end with a SQLite database. Why? Simple, easy, straightforward, very well known. So it should have a React front end, no, no, and Express back end, um, and a SQLite database. Okay. Um, it should use a REST API to store all the stuff people put in their shopping cart. Okay. How should I set up this project? Question mark. Because if you know me, I'm a Python guy. I don't do this node stuff. I mean, I do it now because I have AI, but I don't know. Right. All right, so it's going. What's it saying? Oh my gosh. Okay, so hey there, Pandy. Ready to build some awesome stuff together? Cool. Let's do it. Okay, so it's saying in this project you want a client server shared package TS config readme. Okay, that's fairly standard. Like client server shared. Okay, client stuff is like the front end. Server stuff is the back end, and the shared. They're probably going to have some data models together. Let's initialize the project. Make dear. Okay. Yep. Okay. All this good stuff. Install the TypeScript backend setup. Yep. It's going to do some more stuff. Keep using the AI voice. Thanks, Chris. All right. Key files to create. Yeah, we got this. Package JSON that has all the dependencies and stuff. Okay. So notice how I'm learning from this too. And I hope you are too. Because it's not just like do the thing. It's like in math class in high school show your moves, show your work. Oh, it's showing what it's going to do. This all seems fairly reasonable to me. Now I'm just doing a quick skim because we only have 90 minutes. Um, all right. Key features to implement. Yep. And so I'm now going to switch to agent mode. I'm going to say, yes, please start by creating the project structure. Now, I could have just told AI, yeah, just make the whole app. Who thinks that's going to go well? Nope, that's going to be terrible. It's going to try, it's going to spin for 10 minutes, so it's going to give you crap. Take it step by step, right? Because what we're doing is we are building an application. We're building value for some kind of end user. And we're going to build a little bit. We're going to check it. We're going to test it. We're going to build it. We're going to check it. We're going to test it. We're going to keep doing this iteration over and over. And eventually, we're going to have not only the app, but the Playwright test to go with it. So please start by creating the project structure. It needs to be in agent mode because agent mode means it's actually going to do the things versus just answer the things. If you want some tech debt, go for it. Yeah, that's right. I don't want tech debt. All right, so I'm going to allow list this just so we don't have to keep typing and hitting things. Yeah, allow this. That's cool too. So it's creating a project. It's doing npm init. That's setting up the project structure and all that. It's going. Hey, look, we got some code. Maybe not. No code yet. Just package JSON. That's awesome. So TestMu online store version 1. Yeah, init that stuff. Awesome. Using AI should not make you forget how development works. Small pieces, iterate. Yes. The smaller pieces you can give the AI, the better the results are going to be. Because you can say, hey, no, stop that. That's bad. Here, you should do it like this instead. How much do tokens cost for an individual? So I pay 20 bucks a month for Cursor's Pro subscription, and I haven't run out of things yet. Um, I was able to get that expense through my company because I'm like, hey, I can like double my output for like 20 bucks a month. Can you do that for me? And they're like, yeah. And so we did, and it's awesome. All right. So now it's what is it doing? So we are setting up front end, setting up back end, installing some stuff, installing TypeScript development. Great. Now it's setting up the client using oh my gosh, it's actually it's doing stuff. What? Oh my gosh. Okay. Super fast. Um, we're gonna let it spin a little bit, but I already don't like the direction this is going because what I want to have happen is I want client and server kind of serve together through Express. I don't want two separate applications. Um, and it looks like it's trying to set these up as two separate applications because you can see there's duplicate node modules and duplicate um, that stuff going on. Um, we'll let it spin for a bit. Mm. Go, go, go. All right. What's it doing? Now it's setting up TypeScript configurations. I mean, it goes pretty fast. It's kind of like back in the day when you had to take a while for things to compile. Um, that's that's what the whole AI thing is now. Um, man, it's really going to town. Oh wow. Okay. Oh, it's actually like trying to create the app. Oh my goodness. This is going to be interesting. Sometimes I just like to let it go and see what it does just to challenge my own thoughts too, because I might have a concept in mind and I might express it in a certain way. And it might take it in a whole different direction. And people like that doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. That just means it's doing something different. Maybe there's something I missed. That happens, like especially like when I write unit tests too. It'll pop out a whole bunch of cases I didn't even think of. So loading. So I'm going to use this time to answer a few more questions. How would you approach building a self-healing playwright test suite using AI, where tests automatically adapt to mirror to minor UI changes without requiring manual intervention, while still maintaining high reliability and preventing unintended behavior? Um, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, there's tons of testing tools out there that claim to be self-healing. The problem is with self-healing, I think fundamentally as a feature pitch, it's a little flawed because usually self-healing means um, change automatically updating locators, right? What happens when behavior changes? That's a much harder thing to try to account for. And so within Playwright, I usually don't try to handle that as a concern because I'd rather have a test assuming something works one way and then run it, and when it fails, I'd rather have a test fail when something changes so that I get the information, the feedback to know, oh, there was a change in the app. What was the nature of this change? Was this a good change or a bad change? You could look at that as saying, oh, well, my tests aren't self healing and it's bad, it's wasting my time. You could also look at that to say, hey, wait a minute, expectations changed, reality changed. Oh, maybe I need to be aware of that. Different perspective. Okay. What's the most useful way AI can boost playwright testing beyond what we already do manually? Um, what I'm going to show you is how you can use AI to really like help you write your playwright test much more efficiently and quickly. Um, because what it can do is you've got the app there and you've got the page ready. You can coach the generative AI to be like, hey, I want to develop a test that does to checks these kinds of things. Look at these pages. You can rip the information from there, and then it'll go off and generate it for you. All right, looks like we're getting to the end of this because it's now doing npm run. Oh my goodness, it's checking structure. Let's also check the server structure. It's going. All right. Let's answer some more questions while we're waiting. I was expecting it to be done sooner by now. Um, hmm. So Himanshu, the page object model is a classic pattern, but it can be challenging for modern component-based web apps. Does this workshop explore alternative patterns like the screenplay and what trade-offs? We're not going to go that deep in this workshop. I personally love screenplay. I think it's great, but what I typically teach page objects and playwright because they're light, they're easy, most people can pick them up. You don't need a whole bunch of extra boilerplate code. Um, yeah, so we'll stick to traditional Palm. Okay. What are some use cases where Playwright's UI mode or code generator can accelerate test creation? Um, the generator is great because you can just like click around an app and it can give you a recording. UI mode is just kind of like a presentation layer that lets you look in and peer into it and have you what's the word I'm looking for? Like help you run your tests more quickly, not so much in the building of the tests. But if you're new to Playwright, you probably don't um, you probably don't know all the specific syntax, right? You probably don't know like, oh, this method does this locator does that. And so the recorder can show you, oh, well, click means this. Typing text means that. Those kinds of things. So that's how those tools can really come into play. Mhm. All right. Man, this thing is still grinding. I don't want to give this too much time because I know we're limited in this workshop, but what we can see it doing is it's setting up things in the app. I was hoping it would stop sooner, that we could jump in and kind of try things out ourselves, but I don't want to interrupt it quite yet. But it's setting up front end, it's setting up back end, it's noticing problems. It's now fixing those problems, seeing it's saying it's got TypeScript errors. And so it's going through and it's trying to change what it's doing here. Um, if we look into the code that it's got so far, particularly, let's look at backend code, um, carts TS. Yeah, we can see it's setting up an API router. And so you can see you've got all the different um, things like here, get all the cart items. What's it doing? Adding items to a cart. It's doing all the, whoa, where did cursor go? Come back, cursor. Ah, that's what happened. Now it tried loading an app. That's cool. Where's Oh, still crashing. I'm going to give this a few more minutes, and if this doesn't work, we're going to bail out and use an app I already have created on the side. So I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I was hoping this would go a little better. As you can see, AI is not perfect, so um, you gotta work with it a little bit. Skip this. Come on, it's still showing this thing. Let's close this down. Oh, come on. Bam. So more TypeScript errors. I think this is a case where it's biting off more than it can chew. Okay. What else do we have here? So we have a database. So we said we want to use MySQL, or sorry, not MySQL, SQLite. And so we can see it's got SQLite 3 stuff going on. It's got all the initializing of the tables. It's going to create all that stuff, seeding the products. So it looks like we're going to be buying wireless Bluetooth headphones and smartphone case. Really, the AI is really good at generating like the dummy data, so to speak. Um, mm, mm, mm. Try the server again. Failed to connect to localhost. Oh, yeah, this is just floundering. Okay. Let's see if we can just get the back end going. Stop. I'm gonna keep all. Okay. So we're going to jump in here because we can start by testing just the back end. Um, let's focus on the back end first. Um, what command do I need to run to get that going? Is it ready? Let's find out. Okay, so there's some issues it's still working through in the API. Come on. Okay, so it's fixing something here. So at least if we can get the back end, then I can get the Playwright test into place, and then we can start to build things out from there. Boom, boom, boom. Do I have terminals running? It's got a ton of these going. Let me kill some of these. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, man. Okay, so we got this back up again. Still crashing. Okay. All right. I'm not willing to let this go on much longer. Uh, Stop this. Skip. Okay. This is not happening. All right. So sorry, folks. I want to get into the playwright stuff. I tried this before. It went much better. This is bad. Let me try with a different project to just get us moving a little faster. Um, where was the project I had before? TestMu Beat. Okay. Let's try this. All right. I was hoping we could just make our own little online store, but the AI clearly isn't good enough yet for that. Or maybe I'm just giving it bad prompts. Either way, um, let's switch to another app. Oh my gosh. Come back here. Okay. Sorry, it's not going to be an online store. We've got a to-do list, a Trello app knockoff. Sorry, I failed. My automations were bad, but the show must go on. So, with this app, what we're going to do is we can create boards and we can create work items under those boards. So, if I create a board named chores, I can come in here and I can say, hey, I have a to-do list. And what are things I would want to do on my to-do list? I could walk the dog. I could buy groceries. I could mow the lawn, right? I could have multiple columns if I wanted, and I could even have multiple boards if I wanted, right? So here's my chores board. I can come here and do stuff like that. This app is written with with Vue. It's not with React. I've got this running locally on my machine here, and yeah. So the data stored in this database JSON file, I can easily revert this if I want to get it back to a starting state. And so what I can do now, I can say, hey, take a look at this project. And right now it's actually configured with Cypress, but we can convert it over to Playwright and start writing some new tests. So let's see what the AI will do with this. Hey, this project uses Cypress for end-to-end testing. I want to use Playwright instead. Please initialize Playwright with this project and remove all the old Cypress tests. Do not convert the Cypress tests to Playwright. I just want them completely removed to start fresh. Okay. So let's init this project with Playwright. Okay. So it's looking at all the different things. So it's going to change directory into here and remove everything with Cypress. I'll say, yep, that's fine. And then, come on, go, baby, go. Let's install Playwright. So to install Playwright, npm install Playwright test. This will get all the dependencies, and it will also you can then run Playwright install, and this will get all those browser projects, the Chromium, Firefox, all that stuff. Okay. Thankfully, I have gigabit internet, so this should go pretty quick. I love that the AI calls you Pandy. Yes, that's one of the greetings. You can configure cursor to give you a greeting for every answer it gives. That's important because you know if it stops giving you the greeting, it's blown its context buffer. And so that's when the answers go off the rails. All right, now let's create Playwright configuration. Man, we should have just done this from the start. It was ambitious to say, let's go build our own web app. If I had more time, like a half day workshop, we probably could have gotten that done. But there's only so much tolerance I have for floundering. So sorry that God hopes dashed. I will say that, given that most of you were testers, if you want to really level up your skills in terms of testing, automation, development, one of the best things you can learn how to do is build your own web service. Build your own web service. Doesn't matter what language. You want to do Python, Fast API, Django, great. If you want to do TypeScript, Node with Express, great. Um, but that I know in my own career, like that was a major level up of like, oh my gosh, this is how this works, because that made me a better tester and automationeer because I'd be able to go in and do things better. I tried to tell y'all go with the to-do list. Yeah, I did. Thanks, Chris. You got my back. All right. So what it's doing now, it's updating all the dependencies, and you can see it's saying, "Hey, in my package JSON file that declares all the dependencies. Not only do we have dev dependencies for Playwright being added, but we also have it's smart enough to add the different scripts for all the different kinds of testing we might want to do, which is really nice. Like I could have just gone and done npx Playwright install from the command line, but the nice thing about the AI is like it will do some of these, excuse me, extra niceties. This is very helpful in a case where it's like, hey, I want to remove this thing. If you ask the AI to do it, it'll be smart and like check all the places it's used. Whereas if you just do it yourself and say, well, we YOLO, then you might hit problems later. All right, so let's see what it does with test. Okay, now it's adding a see, there's another thing. It's adding git ignore for particular Playwright files, which is also very nice. Hmm. So I see people asking about how does this compare to GitHub Copilot? I mean, like they're all the same. They got tweaks, but they're very, very similar. Why do I use this one? Because that's what my company paid for. That's what my friend showed me how to use. Let me accept this. Bam. All right. Let's make a summary. Okay, that's cool. Linter, that's fine. Come on. Yes, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Hi, yeah. Sometimes it takes forever. Sometimes I'm just like, man, just let me do this myself. Oh my gosh. Why is it cleaning up other shit? Why is it doing that? No, just it's fine. It's just want to play right. Sometimes it's overzealous and tries to do too many things. Oh my gosh, is it linting? Oh my gosh. Stop this linting stuff, please. Get it to a point where I can just talk about it with people. Lol. Yep, I know. I know. Hmm. What is it even doing? Oh, it's just removing stuff. Okay. It's no longer needed. Fixing linter errors. The prompt should have complete. Yeah, you're right, Joe. I really should have said that. Oh my gosh. Remove all the component files. Yep. Okay. So we definitely want to do this. Okay. Delete it. Okay, come on, come on. The AI is trying to impress the boss. So clearly you can see the AI will do what it does, and you need to be very cautious in how you coach it because right now we're in the valley of despair where it's like, oh, the AI promised that I could do things and it's doing really badly. It's like, I know. Trust me, we'll get to the good stuff. Um, oh gosh, this is going to be recorded. This is embarrassing. Okay, so now we got all of our tests, any remaining Cypress references, type check. Don't worry about type check. My gosh, it's there. It's fine. You just need to import. Did it do an import? Yeah, it did an import. Okay, good. Okay, are we good? Lint. I don't care about linting. I'm about ready to just end this. All files past linting. Thank goodness. Summary. Okay, we did it. Yay! We added Playwright. Okay, so what happened here? Removed all Cypress components, installed and configured Playwright, did everything you could possibly imagine, created fresh test structure, configuration files, verified everything works, keep it all. Okay, so now if I were to run something like npx playwright test dash dash UI, oh, not UUI, UI, what we should be able to see is, did it pop up? Okay. So now we have UI mode for Playwright. Yay. And so in here, we can see, let me increase the text size a little bit. This is the main UI mode at which we can kind of peruse our Playwright tests. And so here we have the example spec. This was created when we did init on the Playwright project. Yeah, thank you for all the memes. We can see we've got two different tests. App load successfully. We can run them individually. Boom, boom, very quick. And oh, it actually loaded this app. That and if we did a basic navigation test, let's see what it does. So again, it just kind of loads. Well, they both pass. Let's actually look into the code for these tests because we don't know what they are, right? We just generated these things. We have no idea what these things actually do. And that's dangerous because it's like, okay, code happened. What code happened? Never trust. Never trust. That's right. Hallucinations happen even when you're not on drugs. So here it's saying, hey, just the upload successfully is page.go to slash. So it's obviously set up for the local host. And then we're making sure it says Trello. That's pretty good. The AI just knew, like, oh, hey, maybe you want to test like this. Basic navigation works. And this is where maybe the AI wasn't so great. So if I look at this, these two tests are exactly the same, right? We don't need this other one. Let's get rid of that. That's fine. So we have one example test. Cool. But we know it worked and it actually used the app that was running locally. Now you might be wondering, how did it set up that magic? Um, well, if we look, oh my gosh, it got rid of a bunch of stuff. So normally I like to do a diff before and after. Sometimes I do that through Git. Sometimes I do that through what it shows through cursor. But ultimately there should be a playwright config ts file. And in here, like this is a new file, as we can see. This was all generated. And so what it does is in here, you can actually set up your playwright test to use the app that it's um, that's you're trying to test locally. And so under here, under the define config, there's a whole bunch of things like it specifies this test directory, what kind of report you want. Then there's this use section. And so you can give it the base URL of the app that you want to test. And so in this case, it's running localhost on port 3000. So it knows to do that. Um, so when I run, um, oh yeah, that's the other part. So it knows to target this as your base URL. So in your test cases, you can just use slash. This is the resource path that gets concatenated onto that base URL. Then further down on this configuration file, you'll see it has a web server entry. And this web server entry actually starts your local dev server before you start the tests, right? So you don't have to start the server separately. You can make Playwright start up your local dev server and then hit the tests against it. And like I said before about Playwright working really well with web development workflows, this is what I mean, right? You shouldn't have to do your web testing on some sort of remotely hosted staging environment. You could, but I mean, ultimately, you want developers, the engineers, who's ever developing it, to have the feedback quickly. And so if it's in the same project, then they can just hit test anytime they want, whether through command line or through the UI mode you saw. Um, hey, this is perfect, right? And so it's saying, what's the command? You say npm start, and then boom, its own localhost 3000. That's how in UI mode. Whoops. Oh, my UI mode went away because I closed it. That's how in UI mode we were able to run the test so quickly. So we're doing good so far. Um, let's pop open that UI mode again, because what we can see here is um, okay. So we're now back to that one test. We could run it on different browser types if we wanted Chromium, Firefox, all that good stuff. Um, what did I want to see? Oh, it wasn't in UI mode. Somebody had asked about code gen, so I want to show code gen before we start to go write some tests. So let's what's the command for that? You know what? I can't remember the command for CodeGen off the top of my head. Why don't I ask the AI what that is? Um, what's oh dang it. Stop. I mistyped. What's the command for CodeGen in Playwright? Uh, let's see what it says. Playwright npx playwright CodeGen. Oh, stop. Oh my gosh. This is what I want. Okay. npx playwright CodeGen. So let's start to generate some tests for this. Now CodeGen popped up on my window here. Now I've got a blank note. It's recording already by default. Don't hit that red button. You'll stop recording. But I want to go to, oh, I don't have the app running, do I? 1000. Nope. Okay. Oh, I'm so dumb, y'all. Let me get another. I need to run the app before I can do CodeGen because Playwright doesn't start the thing with the CodeGen. It only starts it when it runs the test. Oh, dang it. Okay, so npm start. Bam. What? You didn't like that? Browser lint. That's out of date. Can I still run it? Is that okay? No. What? Uh-oh. What happened? Let's try that again. npm start. Oh no. My app is failing. Why is my app failing? Oh, no. You do not want to see my Gmail. Oh my gosh. There we go. It was on the wrong page. That's why. I'm being so dumb because it had the board thing and it wasn't found, and that's why. Okay. Okay, that's fine. So let's try CodeGen again. I really want to show this. Okay. Now let's try it. Local host 3000. Okay. So here we can see the code generator. Let me increase that size. It's got a test going in TypeScript, and it added a wait page go to for my page. So let's do this scenario we saw before. Doors. And let me enter a list name, to do, add a card, walk the dog, buy groceries, and what else? Mow the lawn. Sure, that's good. And let me go home. Right. So little basic summary. Let me stop the recording. Stop. Okay. And now I have code here. So what I can do with this recorded code, I can use this as a starting point. So I'm going to copy this. And I mean, there's probably a way I could export directly. I don't know. I'm not smart enough. But let's make a new file. Not a Java file. Come on, man. Trello.spec.ts. Put this right in here. Okie dokie. Um, and if we wanted to, we could probably make kill the code gen. We could probably run this through UI mode, um, and we'll see what happens. One thing I do need to do, I need to revert my data. Yeah, because this test was presuming it was starting fresh. So I'm going to revert my data. Where's my data? Oh my gosh. Database, there it is. Revert this real quick. We'll come back and handle test data in a moment. But if I do um, UI mode now, we now see we have the extra test here. It's just called test. That's not so great. But if I run it, it should run through everything and it passes. So at least we know the recording is good. But if we look at here, I'll reset the database again. Database. Okay. If we look at this code though, we can see this is not so great. Is this really a test case? No. This is like an automated script at best. There's interactions, but there's no verifications, right? There's a lot of code duplication. There's a lot of unnecessary interactions happening. Like here, we somehow it recorded clicking twice. So let's we could do this in one of two ways. We could either manually go through and grind through and try to make improvements, or we could let the AI handle this for us and let's see how well it does, right? So first of all, let's add the context of this particular test file. Trello spec ts. So please give this test case a better name, right? Test is not a good name. Let's see what it comes up with. Let me give it a more descriptive name. Doot, 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 doot. Based on what you're doing here are some options. Ooh, so it's not just going to away, it's going to actually give us some options for what we could have. So, um, test should create a board with list and cards. User can create a complete board workflow. Board creation with the list and card management. Should create chores with to-do list. Which name do we like best out of this list, y'all? Option 1, 2, 3, or 4. Anybody? Shout it out in the chat. I don't want to have to make a poll. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. Yeah, we're going to go with option 1. Please go with option 1. Hey, Pandy, perfect choice. Oh, shoot. I was doing ask mode, not agent mode. Okay, well, normally it would like if it was in agent mode, it would go do it, but because I was in ask mode, it didn't. That's a gotcha all the time. So we'll just do it ourselves. It's fine. So that's a first improvement here. Now we have a much, much better test name. Did we need to use AI for this particular thing? Probably not. We probably could have given it a better test name ourselves. Um, but on the other hand, naming things is hard. And so sometimes it's good to have a rubber duck to kind of bounce these things off. Um, consider when you should and shouldn't use AI for improving things in your test like this. Personally, I probably would have just given it a name myself. I wouldn't have bounced it off of AI, but you do you. All right, so I'm going to ask it now to review this test because we know we have some what's it called, duplicate interactions, right? So let's see what it does in terms of improving these interactions. So please review the test let's say steps. There here to be some unnecessary interactions, duplicates. Please clean these up. Let's see what it does. Yeah, like all those clicks. Now, clearly we can see like, oh yeah, this is click, click twice. I mean, a human, I would have gone in here and just done it rather than consult the AI. But we're doing this because this is the Playwright with AI workshop, and we're stressing to see what it can and can't do. Okay, so, oh my, what did it do? Um, Here's what I cleaned up. Remove duplicate click, removed unnecessary click at line 8 because that's another good one. So here, like I'm going to let it sit on this comparison screen for just a moment. We knew about the first clicking, right? This duplicate, but really, it didn't need clicking at all because what we were doing as humans is we were clicking on the field and then filling it with something and pressing enter. With Playwright, you don't need to click and then fill. You can just fill directly. Um, so it got rid of that. And then not only did it get rid of that, notice down here on line 8, it got rid of that one too because it didn't need it anymore. And it also removed it further down the list. So that was a lot of cleanup. So that was really, really nice. I know it's small for just one test, but imagine if you had like a dozen tests in this particular file. It could just ping off of every single one of those and eliminate all of that very quickly. Holy crap, that's amazing. Let's keep this. Okay, so uh, another thing, if you noticed, it actually separated these by steps and they put little comments on these paragraphs being like, okay, so go to here, create board, create list, create first card, create second card. All right, so that's cool. It's my database. Yeah. So do we trust the changes it made? Oh, Amanda Curtis, but how would you trust it? We don't trust anything. What do? We test it. Now I can rerun this on the command line as well. I could just run npx playwright test, or I could have the AI do it. And if I make the AI do it, what's going to happen? It's going to run it and it's going to check for errors and it's going to start to analyze those errors. Oh, let's give this a try. So please rerun, or sorry, please rerun this test to make sure it works. Okay, I'm going to allow this on my allow list. So it's running just this particular test, running it on three. Oh, it's running on 3 workers. That's no bueno. That's going to explode. Hold on. Stop that. Because we know we have a database problem that I keep pushing off. Let me stop that because I know exactly where this is going to go. Let me undo. And let me do that instruction again, but I'm going to be um, run it only one time using Chromium only, not the other browsers, because I only want to run one test. Continue and revert. Don't forget to say please. Hey man. Okay, so this is the thing. You don't need to say please. You don't need to say thank you. You don't need to make it cool. You could curse it out and F bomb it if you want to. Um, I have seen people who just like curse it up a storm and say, "No, you're stupid. You're native." Blah blah blah. Personally, I think it's a reflection of your character as a human, how you carry yourself and how you speak and how you speak to even an agent like this. So I like to be polite. I'd like to be optimistic. I like to be hype and excited. And so I will say please and thank you. And when it does a good job, you're like, that's exactly what I want. And if it does something wrong, I say, hey, good try, but I actually want it more like this. Why? That's just who I am. That's a reflection of my character. So, all right, let's see what it did now that we got it better. Okay, so this time, npx playwright test with Project Chromium. Note, if you want to run exclusively on one browser, you can provide these options like this. Do I remember all these options? Heck no. That's why I asked the AI. But we have one test running and passed, so we know we're good. Cool. All right. So, where can we take this test from here? Well, we've gotten rid of unnecessary interactions, but we also have the problem with the test data setup because every time we run this test, the database gets filled up and it changes the starting state of the test, right? And so if we were to run this test again, let me just do it for you. And this time we already have the command, so I'll just run it from command line. This will fail, and it will fail miserably. It might time out or something, but ultimately, what's going to find is it can't find that starting page, right? That big hole. Put in the name of your board. That's not going to be there because we already have a board. So when it goes home, um, it um, it doesn't it doesn't have the right path for what it's expecting. So here you can see it's spinning forever. It's not taking 1.7 seconds. It's just right. Come on, man. What's my timeout? My timeout should be, yeah, 30 seconds. Boom. And you can see here's the Playwright report that came up. And it couldn't find the right page after that. So we have a clear failure here. So what we need to do is we need to add some sort of preparation step before tests run, um, in order to clear out the database so that it can start fresh. Now, should you drop your whole database for every single test? No, we'll get into that more later, I hope. But for right now, to keep this moving, let's give this a try. So I know the magic endpoint for dropping the database and doing it. I want to see if AI can look at the code and figure it out. Because there are times as testers that you don't know things. You don't know what the IDs of the page are. You don't know all the things in the API. You don't know secret magic that developers have put in the app, right? But with AI, you have a way to find out much more easily. Let's give it a try. Um, there is a problem when running this test. I'm going to give it as much context as I can. Um, It expects the web apps database to be empty from the start. If if boards have already been created in the app, then the home page shows all the boards instead of the create your first board prompt. I want to update this test so that it clears all the data in the database before the tests run in a before each method. Because I know with the Playwright test framework, before each is the method for that. Is there an API endpoint that we can call? API endpoint that we can call to reset the database. Okay, let's see what it can find. If not, I'll have to jump in and show it. Great catch, Pandy. You're absolutely right. Perfect. There is indeed a reset. It found it. It found a reset endpoint. Excellent. Now I can see the result endpoint clears all the main things. So magic. It actually found it and it did it. And so now it's updating the code before each API request post API reset. Perfect. Now let's test this to make sure it works. Sweet. So just like that, it was able to find the API reset endpoint, and it was able to post it. So it only ran it once. It wasn't smart enough to run it twice. Let's run it again because now, as we can see, that database file is loaded. If we run it again, it should drop it and reset it, and it should work. Oh, look at that. You saw it go. Bam. Perfect. Do we want to keep these changes? Yes, yes, we do. So that is how we can use AI to delve deeper into the code base to figure out what we can do, right? If there's some magic APIs we can call. Because if it didn't, it could say, "Oh, there are no APIs for this," and then you can go have a conversation with your developer to be like, "Can we add the API?" Or what else could you do? You could ask the AI, "Can you please add an endpoint to drop the database?" Maybe don't add that particular endpoint. That's probably really bad in a production system. But you get what I'm saying. You, as the tester, can be empowered to do the right things. You don't need to wait for a developer to add test IDs to your pages anymore. This is another reason why you want your dev code and your test code in the same repo. You want them in the same project because not only do they get version together, but now you can have the AI look at it all together in context. Holy crap. Did we fill out any locators or anything? No, the AI looked at it and said, "I want this." Right? Amazing. Amazing. It's the superpower that we can have as testers to be able to do better things. All right, we're not done yet. Um, let's keep going. What is this test missing? It does a bunch of interactions, but it doesn't do any verifications, does it? No, there's no assertions. Assertions. That's right, Jose. Um, okay, so let's say I we could go in here and we could add a whole bunch of assertions, but let's see what the AI does. Um, this test performs interactions but no verifications. We need to assert that interactions were successful. For example, what would we want to see? Um, when, for example, like when we create a list title, or sorry, when we create a board, what do we expect to happen? We expect to be taken to that board page, right? Uh, when we create a new board, then we should see the board editing page. Please add assertions after each. Uh, after, how can we say this? Please add assertions to verify correct behavior throughout this test. Let's see what assertions it comes up with. Okay, so you're absolutely right, Pandy. A test without assertions is just a script. We need to verify that our interactions actually work. You dang right we do. Now let's test this to make sure it's all good. Okay. Well, you failed. Dang. What happened, cursor? What'd you do? All right. Stop this. I see the issue. The assertion is failing because the board heading might not be exactly chores, it might be a different element. Oh snap, it's doing something else. Let me run the test in debug mode to see what's actually on the page. Oh my, it's going crazy now. It's doing its thing. It popped up these things. I haven't seen it do this before. Let's see what it does. Is it going to do? I think it got stuck. Oops. Let's skip this. I don't want it to do that. Let me try a different approach. Let me run the test without the problematic assertion to see what the actual page structure looks like. All right, this is going a bit off the rails. I just wanted to kind of see what it would do to give me assertions. Okay. Running the test. Okay, it failed again. Yes, we know that. Did it get debug logs from it? Because sometimes it's pretty good about checking the console output from something and fixing it from there. Oh, it's trying to. No, stop serving up that report. Just get it done. It's not smart enough to know, hey, this thing will just keep going until you control C. So you as a human need to come in and be like, stop. I see the issue. The list title might not be a heading element. Let me check the HTML report to see what the actual structure looks like. Okay, what did it do? It's changing some code now. Now let's test the updated version. Still failed. Okay. It's saying this to be visible. This is a point where we as humans might just jump in and say, hey, maybe we can try to figure this out ourselves. No, stop this. Okay, I'm calling it because this is a point where AI is just spinning wheels in and of itself. This is where we as smart humans can figure out what's going on. So we knew that this one was good. It was failing on, um, where was it failing? You know what? We can run this in UI mode and find out much more quickly. Zero trust. Okay, so where does it fail? It fails right here. So verifying the list was created, it's saying get by text to do should be visible. And that is what's not happening on this page. Interesting. So then let's open up that page and find out what went wrong. Why is it not finding that? Local host 3000. It was here, right? Inspect. Oops. It was this element that it didn't like. Input. So it's the value of the input field that is to do. Okay, so now we know a little bit more and we can go in here and fix it. So this was supposed to be an input field. Could I do something like, well, shoot, I shouldn't have closed that down so quickly. Inspect. What was this element? This was class. Oh my gosh. Data CY list name. Let's use a CSS selector. So get by text, I could say page dot get by page locator. That was a data CY element. Okay. We don't want to be visible. We want to have value to do. Let's give this a try and see if it works. What? You don't like that strings must Oh, come on, man. Really? Strings must use single quote? Who said this rule? Some linter thing probably. I could ask cursor, why is this linter thing messed up? And it'll be, oh. All right, let's try UI mode again. Let's run the test, see how far we get. And boom. Oh, it still didn't like that. Errors. What's the error? Unexpected token while parsing. What? Did I boo boo? No. Did I save it? Why didn't it like that? Try again. Something ain't right. Should create a board. What don't you like? Unexpected token, boom boom while parsing selector. Did you mean to CSS? Oh, because it didn't. Double quotes. Cursor, you make me cry. All right, one more time, folks. Let's try it. Bam. Okay, now we're passing. Okay, so it got hung up on this one kind of assertion. We could have tried to vibe this and be like, hey, this one is having a problem. Why is this happening? But sometimes as you as the tester can come in with that expertise to just be like, no, I know this is bad. This locator didn't work. Let me but it was able to get some of the others. Something I could have done instead of just popping in the data CY locator, I could have told cursor, hey, why don't you try using a different locator type? Why don't you look at the pages in the app and find if there's an ID or something or class name you can use? And then it may have been smart enough to figure that out. But anyway, now we have some decent assertions. We're saying created the board, verify we're now on the board page, create a list, make sure that list was create a card, make sure that card is created, make sure that card is created, make sure we're back on the homepage. We could do more to buff up these assertions, but you can see how this can really help you get started. One more thing I do want to show, I know we're coming short on time. I wanted to touch on page objects and how we can handle those. So if you notice looking at this test case, this very much has raw Playwright code. That's okay for getting started. That's what you would expect coming from the generator. That's what you'd expect if you're just plopping along, and that's okay. But that's not something scalable for long term. we really want to have page objects or some sort of reusable structure to avoid a lot of this code duplication, especially when it comes to things like this. Like, look at this. You know, this get by role is duplicated. Like, what is this? 3 times, 1, 2, 3. That's case in point, clear example of where you can use a page object. What I have found is that with these AI tools, their first passes will do a lot of the raw code like this for you. What you really want, though, is to come back and you, as the expert, come and say, "Hey, I've noticed some code duplication here. Can you please clean this up? Can you make some page objects? Can you do some abstraction?" So let's do that now. Normally, I would go create these page objects myself, but hey, I have the power of AI. Let's do that. Um, this test has lots of code duplication. Please create um, page object classes for it. And we can give it some clearer instructions, like where do we want to put these page object classes? Um, please put the page object classes in a new file named pages.ts under the tests directory, and then import them into the spec.ts file to use them. I don't want to, or let me phrase it this way. I want all locators in page objects. I want all interactions in page object methods. What else can we say? Let's see how it does with this prompt. We might need to refine a little bit more. So I know we're coming up on time. Let me see if I can answer any other questions. Oh my gosh, there were tons of questions here. What's the most useful way AI can boost playwright testing beyond what we already do manually? I think I already answered this one. How would you approach building a? Oh, I already answered that one. I'm sorry. We already answered the page object one. Um, okay, we answered that. Okay. Will AI powered test case generation actually improve coverage or just create bloated, meaningless test suites? Oh, great question, Prachi. It depends. What I found is that when you're trying to generate test cases with AI, either it gives you too many tests that maybe you don't necessarily need all those variations, or it doesn't give you enough testing. Like some of these assertions in here, to me, feel a little bit weak. I would like to see them checking a few more things. Um, so that's where you, as the expert, have to come in and kind of coach and guide. If that means you go in and rip it out and you do it again in parts, okay. Or what I prefer to do is kind of coach it along to get it to where you need, so it remembers that context for future tests you need to write. All right, it didn't like something here. It went off the rails. What did it do? So it created the page objects, refactored the tests. It hit errors when it refactored the tests. Let me fix the page object by making locators more robust and adding. Why you don't need to add some weights? So clearly it's not fully quite there. Let's see what it's done so far. So it did create a home page that had create board locator, and this is good structure for Playwright, where you have a constructor, you pass in Playwright's page, and then you create the locators there, and then you have the methods like this. I would say this is good practice. It looks like it's actually creating some methods for assertions, which you may or may not feel dirty about. Creating the board, filling the board. These all look like they should be good. So I don't know why the things are failing. But we could basically let this grind and burn a little bit. Oh, there's still some failures happening. Um, doesn't like that last locator in the list, it seems. So, oops. What? Okay. So as you can see, the AI likes to spin and go. Is this really the best approach? Maybe, maybe not. You can see how we fell into quite a bit of sloppiness earlier. There's a bit of over ambition. I should have prepared a little bit better. But like I said, this was meant to be more live stream. Like, let's try some stuff. Because when you're at your day job, guess what you're doing? You're trying stuff, and it doesn't always go well. And you know what? That's okay. You can mess up, you can backtrack, right? The key thing is that you always have a safe state that you can fall back on. And through this, we have learned some things today, I hope. So I know we're at time now. Thank you very much, everyone, for attending. If y'all want to keep up, if you want to see where this can keep going, message me after. We can see what happens. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, so thank you so much, Andrew, for that insightful and practical workshop and for answering most of the questions. The strategies for advanced playwright usage and the integration of AI tools were truly amazing. I'm sure everyone here is excited and start applying these techniques in their own projects. And to our amazing audience, thank you for joining this session. If you have more questions, you can put it on the LambdaTest community, the link to which is already given in the chat. However, just to remind you, all these sessions are being recorded and will be shared with you via email and will also be available on the Lambda Test YouTube channel later. Also, do share about your favorite moment or learnings from this session on the social media with the hashtag TestMuQuant so that we can select the winners and give away prizes. Thank you once again for joining us and have a fantastic day.